Hi. In this video, I'm going to be talking about leaving your child when you go on a trip of any kind, work, personal, and while I'm doing it, I'm going to be doing my skincare routine. So here we go. Welcome to New Mom on the Block. I'm so glad you're here. Good evening. Let's do this. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to New Mom on the Block. I'm Lindsay Legister. I am a new mom. My son is 17 months old. What? Dude, it goes so fast. So freaking fast. I can't believe it. And it was at 1 year that I was able to go away for one night. A few weeks later, I went away for 2 nights. And now I just got back from Paris with my husband. I went for 3 nights. LOL, it was so quick. I got whiplash, but it was so worth it, so fun. And I want to talk about this experience. I got a lot of messages when I shared about going away with my husband this last time. People being like, can you talk about this? Because I'm about to go away and I'm nervous and I'm anxious. So I want to talk about why it's hard to leave, because it is so freaking hard to leave. I want to talk about how you can trust yourself when it comes to deciding when it's time, when is the right time. I want to talk about just tips for preparing for this, for you, for your child, maybe for the people that are watching your child, and just like ways in which you can reduce your anxiety, you know, because that would be helpful. Anywho, okay, I'm going to be doing my skincare routine, as I said, and I won't be talking about it. So what I'm going to do is I'll hold up these products, but I won't be saying anything about it, and I'll just link everything and at you always, because I know there will be questions. So as I said, it wasn't until a year that I felt comfortable leaving the house. I just was not ready before then. And it was just feeling that nobody else understood except me. Only I understood this feeling, and I think it frustrated my husband at times. I know he was ready well before that to go away and just like spend some time together. People would encourage me like, just go, like be fine. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. He probably will be fine, but I'm not. And I really had to trust that. I had to trust that like this feeling was not rooted in just like a bunch of fear and anxiety. It was actually like on a physiological level. I was like, oh, I'm not ready. I was also breastfeeding at the time. I still am, but we are in the process of weaning, which is a whole journey in itself. When we went to Paris this last weekend, or last few days, my left boob nearly exploded. So that was cool. Forgot to bring a pump. Not forgot, but like I just didn't think about it. I didn't think it was gonna explode. So that happened. But at a year, when Matt turned a year, I had to go away for one night. It was a warm up. We had a wedding in a few weeks where we were going away for 2 nights. I warmed up, okay? My parents washed him both times. So I warmed up with my parents for one night, went 15 minutes away, did a like little getaway with my hubby. It was phenomenal. 10 hours of sleep, went to bed at 9. I just felt so amazing. I felt relaxed. I didn't have to worry about my parents, and they had a blast and they know what to do. You know, I really do trust my parents. I know that's not the case for everyone. We're going to talk about it. It felt really good. I was able to like share with them all of my preferences, walk my mom through everything as if she hadn't done this before with 4 kids. But it was important for me to take little baby steps. So I took little baby steps. And by the time the wedding, mid-September, came around, I was ready for 2 nights away in Martha's Vineyard. So technically it was a plane ride away, which was a big step. Like flying on a plane without your child, and not even that it's like easier. Fine, sure, it's easier. Knowing that your child is in a different place than you and you're on a plane in the air and they're on the front, it's like intrusive thought central. It's kind of crazy, but it was just such an odd feeling, and I really had to breathe through it. I had to move through it. Obviously, my husband wasn't having the same experience. It's different when you're the mom. It just is. So we got through that, had a wonderful weekend. And so I'm building my confidence. I'm building my confidence every single time. I'm understanding that he's having a blast and totally fine, though I miss him and I know that he misses me, and there's kind of this sense of like, what's happening? Where is she? But it's not causing him any distress, which is great. What I realized is that like I wasn't ready until a year, and that was okay. There was a lot of physical resistance that I felt in my body. There was a lot of like emotional resistance. I experienced just a lot of anxiety around being separated from him, worrying about me, worrying just that like he would think I would never come back. We were breastfeeding at the time, and how would that feel in his body? Would he just be super dysregulated, not having the comfort and nourishment of my boob, you know? I was anxious about missing things. I was anxious about, even though I trust my parents, like, you know, are they going to do it like I do it? Is something going to happen? Like, just all the intrusive thoughts, all of the anxious thoughts are there. I don't know if they'll ever be like fully removed, to be completely honest. So for me, it was really about like holding space for them. You know, I hate saying holding space, but like I had to hold space for myself. I'm like, okay, this is coming up. I brought some of it to therapy. You know, I think there was a lot of just like fear around like loss of control. I'm not there, not doing it the way I would do it. Fear of like getting out of our routine, fear of would this have an effect on Mav for the long term? Fear of just, you know, having a great time. Just kidding. I was hoping I would have a great time. And just that feeling of like, Linz, what's wrong with you? Why did it take a year? Like other people feel comfortable going at like 6 months, like what gives? Like you should be more chill. So both like having judgment of myself for waiting so long, for not being able to do this easily, for having a lot of resistance, but then also like having the resistance, having the anxiousness, and just being able to like hold both. And at the same time, like when I was ready, I was really excited to go. I was anxious and I was excited. So we really have to like be able to hold both things, because that's what we do now as moms. We hold a lot. We hold the overwhelm and we hold the pride and joy in a moment. You know, we hold the anxiousness and we hold the peace. It's kind of crazy. And we just do our best. So when is it the right time? How do we know? When the frick is it the right time to be able to take a trip, to leave your child with someone else that you trust and go and hopefully enjoy yourself? Only you know when it's time, and it won't be the pressure of someone else that makes you go. I feel it in my body. I know the difference between my truth and my fear, if that makes sense. You know, my fear is a real thing, but it's not always a true thing. So I have to notice when I'm in fear, which is causing anxiety and tension and resistance, versus when I just know it is not time, or it's not the right thing, or it's not the right place, or I'm not with the right people. So I really have to trust that feeling in my body. So that's my answer. I know it's kind of annoying, like I want you to know, but I really, really, really want you to trust yourself. I want you to trust yourself, because that's kind of our vibe now as moms, you know? We got to trust ourselves. We got to trust ourselves as, you know, we are rearing this next generation. Like they're counting on us to trust them. They're counting on us to trust ourselves. So now is the perfect time to practice. I also think that if you're able to kind of practice and work up to leaving your child, maybe you have a babysitter or a nanny or a family member or a friend who you trust to watch your child, and you go for a few hours on a date with your partner, or maybe you go out by yourself and run some errands or do something like really nice for yourself. Notice how that feels. Notice how it feels the first time and the second time. Notice what helps you. Notice what helps you in like the preparation of it all, right? Like I think we can have such a build up to the first time and feel so much, so intense. And then we do it and it's like, oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. Actually, it felt good. Actually, it was worth it. Actually, it made me a better mom. Look at my like acrobatics here. Actually, it made me like a better mom. Like I am happier. I am less stressed. I am more present. Like, wow, that was worth it, you know? And so practice leading up to the actual like trip / overnight. And that's how you'll know too, when you start to get a little more comfortable, a little less tense around this idea of leaving overnight. So just notice that. Other indicators that you're probably ready to go away for a night, more than a night, and leave your child with someone you trust is that you found someone or people that you really do trust to watch your child. Sometimes within that that first year, you're like, I actually don't have anyone. It can be hard to find if it's not your family, right? Maybe you have that like really strong craving, really strong need, desire to reconnect with your partner or with yourself. That's a huge, huge, strong reason. You know, I think you should follow that because normally it's connected to how you can show up as a mom. We really have to kind of weigh like, yes, this is hard. This is causing me anxiety. However, if I do go, what is going to be the positive benefits that come from this? And that could far outweigh your own anxiety about going away. And most likely your child is going to be fine and they are going to enjoy themselves as well. But I think if the benefit of it is highlighted, then we can really wrap our mind around like why it's worth it. So if you feel that need or desire to be reconnecting with your partner or reconnecting with yourself, then it is absolutely time. I'm whispering because my son is asleep, even though he can't hear me. How to prepare yourself and your baby. Here we go. Let's run through it. You got to build trust with your caregiver. Who's going to be the person that is watching your child? Who? Is it going to be your family? Is it going to be a babysitter, a nanny? Is it going to be an in-law, sister-in-law, brother? Who's it going to be? Build trust with them. And I think honesty is the best policy. I think making sure that they know your preferences, that they know how to support this new experience that you're having. Because if they're going to be someone who's like really short with you and is like, no, I got it. Like I've raised 4 kids. I got it. Don't worry. Just go enjoy yourself. That's not going to help. Please allow us to tell you every little detail that we want to tell you, if that's our vibe. It'll make us feel better. We know you might not follow everything, but it did make me feel better to give my mom like a schedule for the day. If she followed it, great. If not, okay, it is what it is. But at least, I was able to share that, emphasize what was important, little things to look out for, maybe just some stuff that he's like working through right now. Maybe he's teething, look out for this. Here's this tincture, here's that. It might have been a lot, but it made me feel better. And if she didn't do it all, I knew it was going to be okay regardless, but it did make me feel good to be able to say and build that like trust with her over all the things that I thought would be important. I think it's important that you test drive your caregiver, so it's not the first time that you are having them watch your child, so that your child gets used to a caregiver and that you get used to them so that they get used to the experience as well. So take a test drive for sure. Okay, so the routines that I wrote down for my mom, I think are really important. Write down the schedule, hour by hour. If they follow it, again, great. If not, okay. But babies, toddlers love routine. They love consistency. They love patterns. So we want to keep them on a schedule that is similar, if not the exact same as they're used to. So writing this down for the caregiver, I think is super, super, super important. Another thing that I would recommend that I've done before is record yourself singing a song that your toddler or baby loves or reading a book that they love so that the caregiver can play it if they get fussy, if they get upset, and it could just bring them a lot of comfort. So that's an option too. Make sure that you have as much of the familiar for your child as possible. So if you're going to your caregiver's home, you want to make sure that you bring the stuffed animal that they love, or the lovey, or the books that they love, or some of the toys, the sound machine, things like that. Your sleep sack, pajamas, obviously, like things that they know that are familiar to them. Bring them comfort. Just help them to relax. Just really give their nervous system permission to take a load off. You know what I mean? And for your prep mom, okay, communicate early with your caregiver. Tell her or him all the things. Don't hold back. It's all good. You want to be able to say all the things, all of your fears, maybe your nervousness about leaving them, your requests. Hey, is it okay if I call you like every day at this time, or a few times a day, or maybe I FaceTime you once a day? Lay it all out there, because that will help you to relax when you're actually there. If you are breastfeeding, plan for pumping. Okay, the boobs do not stop producing. It's a plan to pump. If you're going to save it, cool. If not, cool, but plan to pump. Work that in. And don't forget your comfort items. So for me, I'm like, I want to have like the photos and videos of my son just handy. So I have an album of mouth that I've shared with, like, if family members and close friends. So I have that at the ready if I just get a little emotional, miss him, etc. So I can watch videos and have pictures of him. And what makes me feel like comfort, having my own routine. So maybe it's my skincare routine when I go away. Maybe it's like a really good book that just brings me comfort. Maybe it's my journal. It's just important that you also have your lovey of sorts, right? So how do we actually relax while we're on the trip? Great question. You're going to have anxious moments, and I think you need to anticipate it. It's normal. It's no wonder. You love your child. You are connected to your child. You have given birth to your child. There is just this innate connection that I don't know if it ever goes away. And so anticipate that when you're on the plane or in the car ride, like there might be an emotional moment, and for you to be able to allow that and hold space for yourself, and also maybe prep your partner or whoever you're with, like, this is really hard for me. I'm going to have a moment. And I'm sure they will support it. And I'm sure it will be like a really beautiful connection, a really beautiful connection opportunity. So allow that to happen. What I will say is that for me, it was important that when I got to my destination, I grounded. So that might look like literally getting my bare feet on the grass, on the ground. That might look like moving the lymph in my body. So like really massaging the places where I have lymph, jumping around, just really getting my body really grounded. And it just kind of shakes out the nervousness. It shakes out the anxiety, and it was helpful. So it took like 5-10 minutes, but that to me made all the difference. And then I was able to really just like choose to be present. Now, the mind goes. The mind's like, oh, I wonder how he's doing. I wonder what they're doing. Should I check in? Do you think he's napping right now? How long was his nap? Like, I know it's hard, but try your very best to agree with yourself that you are going to check in X amount of times per day. Because leave it to me, without an agreement at the top of the trip, I'm a check in every couple hours. And it's not because I don't trust who's watching them. It's because I'm just kind of giving in to that part of my brain that's like, I wonder if it's going well. I wonder when not. And it's like, okay, let's check in 3 times a day. Morning, middle of the day, night. That's it. Or morning, night. That's it. FaceTime, sure. Call, sure. Text, sure. Whatever you want to do. I would limit it and agree to it within yourself and hold to it, because it can get a little out of control, and then your mind's mostly there and not present on the trip. So super, super important. And I would say have an itinerary for the trip. The itinerary can involve not doing anything for a block of time, but I do think having plans, having things to look forward to, having a distraction is super, super important. So yes, I wear deodorant when I go to bed. It's my favorite. Just a little swipe. But I think an itinerary is a really good idea. Really good idea. And make sure you get sleep. Like, I don't know why people be going on these trips and they're getting like 4 hours of sleep because they're like out late. You have a child, get some sleep. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a YOLO like that. It's like, you only live once, so get 10 hours of sleep when you're not with your child. So let's wrap up with like returning back home and reconnecting with your child. The reconnection is so important, so freaking important. What you can anticipate is potentially your child might be a little freaked. They're like, yay, where have you been? Like, they might experience many emotions. They might be a little more fussy than normal. They might be more clingy than normal. They might actually not want you to put them to bed because they've been used to Nana putting them to bed. You know what I mean? So just hold space for the whole spectrum of experience, especially within the first 2 days. But it's important that you center and calm your nervous system to be able to hold their experience and not kind of fall into the trap of being like, oh my God, like they're so affected. Why did I go away? No, this is normal. They're a child. Like the routine was a little messed up or mixed up. And so they're just kind of coming back to their center. So like leave space for that. But I think it's really important to have like that really uninterrupted one-on-one time, like the bedtime routine, reading a book and just like having that snuggle time just really close. I think sometimes it's easy when you come back from a trip, you're like, I have to unpack, I have to do all these things, I have to prepare for the week. Make it about your child. Truly reconnect in a very, very powerful one-on-one way. And reflect on your experience. What worked? What didn't? What are you proud of? What are you grateful for? You're going to have many of these moments, I hope, because this is really good for you, good for us. But we got to reflect on it because each time will be a little different, maybe a little better. And it's really on you to take a note on how this experience was for both you and for your child and for your partner, and just how you can tweak it every single time, and obviously work with the caregiver as well. You shine. Okay, I gotta go to bed. My husband's like, let's go. Thank you for being here. You guys are the best. Subscribe. I have a new video every single week. I try to put them out on Tuesdays. Sometimes it's Wednesdays because mom life, but I am here to talk about the topics you want to talk about. So chat me below. I comment back on everything, and go on the trip when you're ready. Go on the trip. when you're ready. It is so worth it. You are doing so great, Mom. Oh my God, we're doing this. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.